Today I want to talk with you about something what small and mid-sized business owners unfortunately often understand too late. By running my own investment bank, I realized for the vast majority of businesses, there is no real investment banking. Not the way people imagine it, or not the way private equity uses it, or not in a way that really protects the seller. And if you watch this video till the end, you will know why most small businesses unfortunately are never properly sold and what you can do to reach a different outcome. If you're running a business and you do, let's say, $1 to $10 million in cash flow, you are in a strange position. You're too small for the big banks, but you're too big for brokers or casual introductions. So when it's time for selling your business, the most important liquidity event of your life, there's usually no structured competitive process around you. And that's not because your business is valuable. They are very valuable most of the time. It's because the system wasn't built for businesses like yours. And all of this costs founders real money, and it actually matters because private equity firms, they always use bankers when they sell portfolio companies. And they don't do this because they like fees, but because bankers create competitive tension. And this competitive tension is what all this is about. Because you have multiple buyers, you have multiple offers, you have a pressure on price, on the terms, and the certainty. And now compare that to how most founders are selling their business. One buyer reaches out, maybe two, conversions drag on, you answer the questions, and they disappear, or maybe one stays with you. And that's not negotiation, it's more like you have exposure. But the real problem isn't the bad intent, it's the asymmetry we have. The buyers are doing this for a living, and the advisors do this every day, and founders most of the time only do this once. And I can remember well, when I was selling my first business, it was a very tough process. I wasn't sure how to do it. I let a lot of money on the table actually by just not understanding. And if I did my second exit, I engineered everything from 0 to 100, and the outcome was a 16-time EBITDA result. And this brings me to a really important point, which is that founders outsource not only the entire process, but they also outsource the understanding of what actually is going on. And the moment you don't understand the mechanics, you can't tell if you get actually good advice or just a convenient outcome. And in general, inbound PE interest is very often misleading. A lot of founders think that my phone is ringing, so I'm in a good position, but this is not really the reality. A private equity firm looks at hundreds of businesses to buy one. For them, walking away is very normal. Their investment, especially in the beginning, is not too high. But for founders, in months of distraction, stress, and waste of time, it is a very, very tough process. After 2 or 3 of these cycles, I see founders, they do not only dislike PE, even if they are very, very good buyers, they start hating the whole exit process. And exactly this was the reason back in the days why I created my investment bank FISART. And so if I'm trying to identify why my investment bank FISART is doing well, it is exactly because of that reason. We provide a very solid investment banking process, which usually is only available to the top tier companies by creating massive competition, even if you are a small business. In addition to that, we provide intelligence for entrepreneurs, for owners to really get an understanding of what's actually going on in the background. What actually changes outcomes isn't just better storytelling, it's control over the process. Who sees the business, when they see it, how many credible buyers are involved at the same time. And that's what creates the leverage. And that's exactly what most small businesses never get access to. And I want to stress something. In most of the cases, an exit or a company sale is first a very, very emotional process. You have to find someone who understands what you have built. And on the other hand, it is also an opportunity because probably it will be the biggest liquidity event you will experience in your life. And I would say that you don't have to become an M&A expert, but you need exit literacy, understanding how valuation really works, how buyers think, where deals fall apart, and what actually moves the outcome. Because once you understand that, you stop being reactive. You can prepare years in advance or decide not to sell at all from a position of strength and not from a position of others are walking away. And this gap between how professional sellers operate and how founders are usually treated is exactly why I started building tools and education around exit. Not to replace advisors because we are an investment bank by ourselves, but to make sure that founders and owners aren't blind going into the most important deal of their life. If you understand the mechanics, everything changes. And this is probably the biggest learning I had, even if you have someone handling it, even if you think you know how it works. In most of the cases, if you get the understanding, the whole exit, the valuation, the final result will dramatically change. So if you're running a small or mid-sized business and you ever felt that the exits seem opaque, intimidating, or kind of stacked against you, you're not imagining it, it's reality. The system simply wasn't built for you, but that doesn't mean that you can't play it well. And that's what this channel is about, helping founders understand exits before they need them, founder to founder. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, push the like button. I'm very thankful that you're part of this journey. If you want to find out how to make your business more valuable, or if you want to understand general exit mechanics, just browse the other videos and we see each other the next week.